Hey, Miami Mike here, back again. Dinner time. It's almost 6 o'clock, 5:45. I'm going to be having burgers, dogs, and fries. So I want to show you a little bit about my source and preparation of these favorite American classics. If you just come over here a little bit, Jacob, you can see me putting in. I just rolled out 4 of these. These are quarter pounders. And you can take a look here, the other 4 here with the condiments that go on with them. Basically, I'm going to toast buns, whole wheat, if you can get this in. This will give you the same kind of texture that we grew up with, what we're used to. I'm going to be making the equivalent of the Whopper style. I have the tomatoes over here. Everything's organic. We've got some French fries cooking. In fact, I meant to turn that machine off. Got some tater tots in here that look almost done, so I'm going to switch that off. Basically, also, I wanted to mention, too, that the cooking utensils that we use, you want to get away from anything with Teflon and stuff like that. So we have the either cast iron or the porcelain, that type of cooking. And I also use the Pyrex glass for baking. So we're going to be back here in a minute as we cook the burgers, put the cheese on, and make the Whopper style, Wendy's style burgers that we all love. Give me just a minute and I'll be back. As these burgers cook, and we're talking about grass-fed, some of the most healthy meat that you can eat, that's going to, number one, help you with your weight management and your overall health, and we'll discuss more of that in a little bit. But basically, this is frying in coconut oil, and that's one of the great 3 supplements that we're going to use in this program. Coconut oil, flaxseed, and basically vitamin D as a supplement. Those 3 things are going to help a lot. And again, more on that later. The source of my food, the grass-fed, I do use Whole Foods quite a bit, and you'll see that besides the buns, we got the ketchup, the mustard, the cheese, all of that comes from Whole Foods. But basically the meat, U.S. Wellness Meats, and I like to use bison, ground buffalo, which, by the way, is half the fat of skinless chicken. And the fat that you do get metabolizes you, supercharges your system, so you're going to lose weight or maintain weight loss in my case. And again, the overall health for that. So we like to have the lean meat, and basically the sides can speak for themselves as long as they're organic. So again, the source of my main meats after Whole Foods is U.S. Wellness Meats, and you can Google that. And now I'm also using Black Diamond Ranch, a farm ranch out of Virginia. So that's what this is tonight instead of bison. I prefer bison dogs, hot dogs, again for the same reasons. But you can also buy the whole food variety that a little bit pink, but they don't have the nitrates and nitrites that are not good for you at the standard American grocery store, the sad American grocery store. Back in a minute with the done burgers. All right, Jacob is focused on the potatoes. We got tater tots that were in a convection oven, and just a few of them, I got them a little too done, but they're very edible. The French fries are active fry, and I put some coconut oil in them too, and they're about done. So if you can pan slowly over here to the frying pan and follow me just a little bit. I'm getting ready to put the cheese, and I meant to mention too, to make these as much like what we were used to growing up and very competitive with the fast food chains. We do toast our buns. We do try to cook the meat to a medium texture, which is almost done now. And again, in coconut oil. And I think now's a good time to mention too, the snack that I'll be having tonight, which is basically, I've mentioned this before, toasted and salted sunflower seeds. I snack on this virtually all night from 8:30 till 11:30, 12 o'clock at night, and there's a lot of fiber in here, and I never go hungry at any time during the day, but I think these 3 meals that you're going to see, breakfast next, here at my house tomorrow morning, and we will be focusing on probably sausage and overnight eggs and the rye toast that I have with that. But also I'll mention things about the cereal and the fact that some people just can't get away from wanting the sweet cereal. So I'm going to introduce you to a new product, not new, but it's new to me and probably most of America, Just Like Sugar, which you can get at Amazon.com. Basically, it tastes just like sugar. It has no carbohydrate. It has no calories. It only has 3 simple ingredients: chicory root, vitamin C, and orange peel. And it's just like sugar. It tastes just like sugar. So we'll be talking about that, and coincidentally, today's Miami Herald. Today is February 3rd, 2015. Article about natural stevia. Now, most people don't like stevia in the fact that it has an aftertaste and it's just not as good as sugar. This is better. We're going to have a lot more to say about this in the morning for breakfast. See you then. I'm going to go put the cheese on my cheeseburgers, and we'll enjoy a great, healthy meal. See you in the morning. Just as an afterthought almost, I wanted to show you the assembled product. It might not be too easy to get your teeth around this. It's so big. But I like mine. Lots of mayonnaise, lettuce, tomato, onions, lots of salt. This is sea salt, and there's no restriction on the Miami Mike diet for any of this. The more seasoned, the better. I'm going to throw on just as much salt and pepper on my French fries and tater tots as this. I'm missing applesauce tonight, but I'll suffer through this. See you in the morning. Hey, welcome back, Miami Mike, breakfast time. It's almost 10 o'clock, and you can pan over here to see the clock. This is February 4th, I believe, Wednesday. If you go over here, I'm gonna grab my glove, because this is a little bit hot. I preheated a little bit of what I'm having for breakfast this morning, and I'll talk about that in a minute. But basically, frozen eggs. On a Sunday, I'll make a dozen eggs or so to eat over the next week or two. This happens to have pepper in it. We have some frozen bacon and sausage that I pre-cooked on that Sunday also. Popping it in here, so it's a way of getting around not having to cook. Although I will have, and I'll show you my eggs in my fridge in a minute. If we back up a minute here too, I want to show you the coffee that I drink. And I'm a coffee-holic, but it's all organic. I split basically full caffeine with decaf, so it's half and half in the coffee pot that I have going here. All right, follow me over to the fridge. Good time to take a look at my staples and what I have daily. I think we'll start right with the raw milk, if you can get in here, Jacob. And this is for demonstration purposes only, because in the state of Florida, you'll see on the labels here, here's the raw butter, that this is not for human consumption. You can buy it for your animals. There's 2 states, the biggest being California, but also Pennsylvania, and other states that's completely legal for you to buy raw dairy. And I will emphasize the importance of that in any diet if you're able to get these products, raw dairy. But you can see from, over here I have my little chocolate. I'll explain what this is made of, but I eat a lot of this. And coming around here, I've got some probiotics that I take, but besides the dairy products, I'll be talking about the supplements I use. This is ground flaxseed, especially on cereal. We'll talk about that in a few minutes. But if you look back here, you can see everything that I have is organic. Olives, as far as the mayonnaise I use, the mustard, Parmesan cheese, sour cream from Whole Foods, cream cheese, again, all organic, and we'll be talking a lot about that. Salmon for sandwiches. This is liverwurst and bologna. You'll see that at lunchtime today. Coming around here, this is actually going to be dinner tonight. I've got ciabatta bread from Whole Foods, frozen meatballs, so you just warm them up, and I have the marinara over here ready, so I kind of rotate this from the freezer. And again, organic pasta sauce from Whole Foods. So wherever you are in the country, basically you want to have an outlet for your staples that's pro-organic USDA. And you'll see I'm big on pickles and green apples. Hard-boiled eggs. This is important too. Make sure that anytime you have to use bottled water, I try to use glass bottles myself, but you want to make sure it's spring water. That's the only certified source of getting the real thing. Anything else, the purified that's out there, it's really tap water that's been distilled or something like that. Now the drinks that I encourage my grandkids to have, and I don't drink soda at all, like this root beer here, if you look at the ingredients, and we'll have another video on ingredients by themselves, much less harm done than the Coca-Cola or whatever that a lot of kids grow up on now. So down here a little bit more. I'm going to open a bin or two. That's apples. This is salad material here, and cheese. This is a pretty good drawer. This is, you'll see this again at lunchtime. I'll take some of the cheese out of here, but again, all organic. I have some eggs that we're going to talk about, the three-way egg test that you can do. Let me set my coffee down here. 2 hands would be nice. These I purchased recently. They're pastured in the Redland area here in Miami for $2 a dozen. I'm usually paying more like $5 a dozen for the farm that delivers to my house. And well worth it. We'll talk a lot more about the eggs. I mentioned the cheese last night, making cheeseburgers. This is the closest thing to the type of cheese that we grew up with. But I'm a big believer in lots of cheese and dairies. This is organic and minimally pasteurized. So some of the other material I mentioned last night, the hot dogs, grandkids will have the equivalent of hot dogs or chicken nuggets that come from Whole Foods that satisfy them. And no antibiotics, humanely raised, etc., etc. In the background, I hear my breakfast is ready, so let's take a look. All right, on the sides here, this is just some of the condiments I use, organic soy sauce, Worcestershire. For the fish, the salmon I eat, this is some toppings there. Wings, I'm a big wings fan. This is the medium wing sauce, Bella's at Whole Foods. That goes great. Big believer in putting as much apple cider vinegar, and this is unpasteurized. This is the best that you can get, and I use a lot of vinegar. Again, a lot of the staples organic. If you go over to this side, if you're here in Miami or Florida and you do not have access to raw dairy, I suggest and always run from anything that says fat-free or low-fat. What you want is the whole milk, the whole dairy, for the reasons we discuss in the videos. And to wrap this up, organic Italian dressing. This is a product of Masi liquid yogurt from Beyond Organics, and I encourage products like this also. So if you want to pan around and see the breakfast I'm about to have, we will, after my consumption of this, give me 10 minutes, we'll be back to talk about more breakfast choices in the Miami Mike diet. See you in a few minutes. All right, just finishing up my breakfast here, and I'm a salt and pepper addict. I mentioned last night, you're free to use all that you want. The bacon, the sausage, the eggs, I happen not to have toast at this meal. It fills me up quite a bit and sustains me till lunchtime. So 10 o'clock for breakfast, 2 o'clock for my lunch, and 6 o'clock for dinner. What I didn't realize at the time, this 8-hour period, there's actually books out on the subject, as it's called intermittent fasting, that you can basically eat whatever you want during that 8-hour period. I happen to abide by that, and I'm using the sunflower seeds at night to snack on. So I'm going to finish up here, and then we'll come back. I want to show you my freezer. Freezing the items that you're going to be consuming is a big part of this program, and a little bit of my pantry just to let you know the staples that I have day in and day out. I'll see you in just a moment. Hey, back again, talking about cereal here in a minute as an alternative for breakfast. I mentioned this last night, that just like sugar, and I wanted to emphasize, if you have to have sweet with your diet, if you use this product, you're much more likely to create less damage, and it tastes just like sugar. Again, the dermatologist that I was mentioning here, especially for you ladies, you're always asking, what can you do to prevent wrinkles? Number one thing you could do is not have processed sugar. And basically the reasons for it will be outlined in the rest of this video. Let me get to the cereal. This is an everyday choice. We want to use whole milk or raw milk if you're allowed to. I use cereals from Whole Foods, the 365 brand. This is Wheat Squares. I have probably once a week. I also have Ezekiel. This is sprouted natural grain, biblically based as far as the company name, and it's very healthy for you, a lot of fiber, and I suggest that if you need the quick meal, that you have cereal. If you're so inclined, you can get like me and have the sausage, the bacon, and that ready as a side at any meal. I also use the bacon for BLTs and bacon cheeseburgers and things like that. So we're going to walk out and take a look at my freezer next, just so you know some of the other essentials that you want to have around the house. Follow me. All right, out in Mike's garage, Miami Mike and his freezer. Very essential to have as much freezer space as you can. If you look at the side here, you can see my milk and how I rotate my milk products. This is prepared potatoes and vegetables, meatloaf that I make 9 pounds at a time, or maybe more, to freeze and have later. We'll get into a lot more of the dinners that I prepare that really is cooking, but I want to show you some of the shortcuts. Vegetables, raw, organic. it is the best bet. But next best, freezing, and you buy these at Whole Foods. All your side vegetables, organic, including the French fries that are all loaded with potato products in here. Tuber products, okay? There's a few fast food type or the equivalent of like TV dinners, but they're organic. I can see enchilada cheese and beef tacos. Here's beef lasagna. A lot of my bread products here. We're going to have grilled cheese along with creamy tomato soup another night this week as a quick meal. Hot dogs and buns ready to go just for 2 people. Lots of meats, sausages here. I got some of the butter back here frozen. This is 10 pounds of grass-fed ground beef that was delivered yesterday from an internet farm that you will have the address for in the video here. A couple, these are the hamburgers from last night, the 4 that I have left over from the 2 pounds of ground beef yesterday. And wrapping this up, some other bread products here. This is what I mentioned for the kids, my grandkids especially, but we'll have them, my wife and I, Peggy, we'll have them occasionally too, which is prepared chicken breast tenders and chicken nuggets that are much healthier than what you'll see out in the standard American diet grocery stores, the sad grocery stores that you want to stay away from. And that completes the live video portion of this. I will reiterate some of the things that we've talked about this morning, and we'll conclude with a luncheon here at 2 o'clock. So see you then. Hey, must be 2 o'clock, lunchtime for Miami Mike. Just a few things on the food over here. Some of my favorite chips I'll explain in a minute. Mayonnaise, liverwurst, I love it. Rye toasted rye along with pickle and some of these tortilla chips. But coming back to the fridge, Jacob, if you can follow me over here. A couple things I forgot this morning. On the raw milk, if you can get a good look at this, you can see where the cream has risen to the top. That's the delicious, very satisfying part of milk that everyone should appreciate. Again, anything low fat or no fat you want to run from. This is what will make you healthy, good, healthy, full fat, made by God food. And what I'm going to do is have a glass of milk. I'm going to use this, since this is not legal in the state of Florida, I'm going to use this, and you'll see how I do it in just a moment. I do like to sit down when I eat, but frequently I also stand up a lot too. Anyway, I've got this piled high. I don't know if you can see all that meat there, but it's a nice thick sandwich, and the meat is actually the most healthy part of this meal. But the fiber that's in the toasted rye is fat soluble, lasts in the body longer than the water soluble. And this food is delicious, very satisfying. I also use an ice cold glass. I rotate it in the freezer. I just love that. Hey, Miami Mike back in afterthought from Wednesday is when we filmed my lunch and dinner, etc. This is Friday, February 6th, 2015, Miami, Florida. And after I get my coffee and water out of the way, I wanted to mention today I'm having a bologna sandwich. This is the little bit that I cut. You'll see the contents here of U.S. Wellness Meats. And basically, they send this overnight FedEx in a big box. You can see here, big box, and then you go down to the styrofoam. And with one ice pack, because the rest of it's frozen, you'll see I have, I don't know if you can get in here, Jacob, but I have 10 pounds of ground buffalo and all grass-fed, best lean meat that you can get. Beef bologna, you can back off a little bit now. Beef bologna, liverwurst, so I have 4 pounds each of my sandwich meats. Don't know a better place to be able to get quality lunch meats. So again, part of the non-cooking way to have lunch at work or at home to take your lunch with you. So basically I wanted to show you that, the fact that I have my little bologna cut ready to go with toasted rye bread. Wanted to share that with you. The U.S. Wellness website will be up on the screen for you. I encourage you to check them out. They have some very good videos, by the way, of why we eat this kind of meat to lose weight and maintain weight loss and overall health. So, that being said, another little aside to Sharon and Dennis, if they're watching this. Sharon wanted to know why I don't get more dressed up for this. But, you know, we're in the equivalent of the upper keys here. I am dressed up. I have my shirt on. So, again, apologize to Diver Dave up in Cleveland, I just talked to him, and it's minus 10 degrees up there. It's 75, 77, something like that here, mid-February 2015. Hope to see you guys again soon. Take care.